I have a mic that works? Okay, I'm going to ask my men's elite panel to come take a seat up here as they discuss race tactics for tomorrow and who's going to attack when. Dibs. Okay. Yeah, everyone found a nice place to sit. Awesome. Okay, welcome back to the second panel that we're hosting today, this time with the elite men that are going to be racing tomorrow. Again, my name's Corinne Malcolm, and I'll be doing live commentary all weekend from various locations. Just at the women's race, we've got an absolutely insane men's race stacking up for tomorrow. Again, 3 golden tickets on the line, making it a super golden ticket event, and the men showed up to, I did my Freetrail Fantasy stuff this morning, and it was like literally impossible to pick a top 10. I changed it probably 7 or 8 times, and I still don't feel satisfied with it. So we'll see how it goes. To start things off, just like the women, we're going to do a quick intro. Tell the people who you are, where you came from to run this race, and why you're here.
Yeah, I don't know if this is working or not. Doesn't appear. No.
I think we got.
Hello. Hey, I'm Andrew Bumbalo. I'm from Portland, Oregon, and I came here to run my first ultra and chase a Western ticket.
Hello, everybody. My name is Hans Troyer. I'm from Noonan, Georgia, and I'm here because I love to run and I love to compete, and what better place and race to do it?
Hey, I'm Hayden Hawks. I'm from Cedar City, Utah, and this will be my second time running the Black Canyon 100K. I ran it in 2020 as well. It's an awesome race. Really excited to get out there and rip up the trails.
Hey everyone, I'm John Ray from Boulder, Colorado, and I'm here just like everyone else because there's now solid consensus that this is the best 100K race in the country.
Cole Watson, Sacramento, California. This is my second time running Black Canyon as well, and I'm back because it's proven to be one of the most competitive 100Ks in the world, and I'm really excited to compete against this field this year as well.
Yeah, so we've got an interesting dynamic that's going to be one that we've been talking about a lot actually going into this race, and it's in large part due to the 2 men sitting at the end of our panel here, Cole and John, and that's because they already have their spots in Western states in June. Ryan Montgomery being the 3rd individual in the men's field who also has a ticket, which is like tickets can only roll down through the 6th place person. And so while 1, 2, and 3, let's say, maybe they don't need a ticket, it'll bump.
Yeah, it's a weight that's off your shoulders for sure. I'm definitely back because I think it's important to test your merit against some of the best and really learn how to manage that duration lead into a race like Western States. It's a long time to deal with a sufferfest, so I think that's why I think it's important to run a race of this length. And it doesn't really change the way that I'm going to compete. I'm still going to put my best foot forward, like you said, and I think that's the way that we're going to all get the best out of each other, and I think that none of them would have it any other way.
Yeah, I agree. Everyone in this field's steeped in the competitive mindset, I think. So we'll see that play out in a big way. Cole, we watched you kind of early last race while we sat next to your coach actually in the live broadcast booth, and you blew through an aid station much more quickly than the rest of the field and all of a sudden created a gap for yourself. And I'm wondering, as that last year and it didn't quite stick in the later half of the race, like going into the race this year, just kind of think over a similar situation.
Yeah, I think I was still working through some growing pains, like in the 100K distance, and every course is different. So you have to take that into account. The weather changes the course. Like I think that with the weather that we've been having this year, it changes from what we had last year, where it was a really dry, hard surface. So I take that into account. But in terms of my race strategy, I think I learned that that's not the best thing for me to do. Some people can get away with that, but I think later on in the year, I really dialed in what intensity was best for me at certain times, and it's just about picking your moments at the right time.
Yeah, so John, you also have a golden ticket. You just missed one at CCC. It didn't quite roll down to you in that race, so you actually showed back up at Javelina in October, and you smashed a really hard course record. You ran an amazing race, and you decided to still come here, in part probably due to the field of men that have have come here to race. Just tell us a little bit about making that decision to get back on a start line with Western States being that big goal down the road still.
I'm still learning how to race, and so CCC and Javelina were chances to grow and learn how to do that. But I had so much fun doing it that I just like want more practice. I want to keep doing it, and so Black Canyon is another chance to race in the type of race that I think is the future of ultra running. There will be more and more races that will show up with fields like this, and if I'm going to be prepared to be relevant and competitive and part of the sport 3-5 years from now, then I need to learn that, and that's what I think I can do here.
Yeah, so I was listening to something with you recently talking about how you went from this like runner mindset to a racer mindset. I think your entry into ultra running is a bit different than some of the guys you're sitting next to. You know, you didn't come in right to an elite level. You've kind of been growing with the sport, so to speak. Talk a little bit about how you've been really working to cultivate that race mindset, that racer mindset, so that you don't end up in a position like you did a year ago at Javelina, where all of a sudden you were in the lead and weren't quite sure what to do with it.
Yeah, I guess my entry to the sport was definitely, from the completion standpoint. I remember my first 50K, my target completion time was 6 hours. And now I'm running 100K, and our target completion time is dangerously close to that 50K time. So I'm resetting my expectations for how fast and how hard I actually have to run for 100K rather than just 50K.
Yeah, we got a lot of people practicing this weekend, and I feel like it'll be good practice as well. Hayden, we've seen you compete at the highest of levels, and we know that this last year has been a little bit different. You haven't raced in a while, you had a knee surgery, and you've been slowly working your way back from that. We know that you're coming into this thing mega fit, but what does it mean to have it been, a pretty big gap as far as like the last time you were on a start line?
Yeah, I feel like I'm coming in fit, but I also feel like I'm coming in very hungry. Haven't raced in almost 9 months. So I'm coming in very grateful, to be honest with you. I wasn't even sure if this was going to be possible, 5-6 months ago. I wasn't sure if I was going to have a career still, and I worked really, really hard. Rehab was intense. I put so much effort into becoming the athlete that I am today, and I'm very proud of where I've come and the preparation that I've put in. I feel prepared for anything that I might encounter tomorrow that I can control. And I think that's the most important thing, is I'm not worried about what I can't control. I'm worried about what I can control, and I know I'm prepared for that. And I'm just very excited, very grateful to be on a starting line again and, be surrounded by all these great guys and this amazing community. I missed it so much, and I'm just so excited to be in it again.
Yeah, no more FOMO. You're back on the start line this weekend. I'd love to hear a little bit, because you haven't raced in so long, and I know that this is an experience that many of us have had. We've been set back by injury or illness, and maybe you haven't made it to a start line in a while. And a lot of us get confidence from finishing races, from getting to that start line and then getting to the finish line healthy. Tell us a little bit about how, given that you haven't gotten to race in a while, how you're taking the confidence you've been able to build in your training into a race performance tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think, confidence has ever been an issue for me. Maybe sometimes I have too. It's more of just making sure that I was prepared for, and I have checked every box when it comes to that, and just really excited that, I'm coming. I was talking to my wife this morning, because my wife's running the 100K as well. It's going to be her first 100K. Really excited for that. Probably more excited for her race than my own race, to be honest with you. But I think the coolest thing about it is I was talking to her this morning, and I said, I feel so calm. I feel so confident. I just feel so excited. And I think it's because I feel prepared, because of my knee. And I don't question that at all tomorrow. I know I can finish, and I know I can run really fast. And it's just so exciting and so freeing to feel that way, and I've taken a lot of confidence from my training, but also I just a pretty confident person as is.
Yeah, I think we've all felt that in interviews, and we're excited to watch you actually get back on a start line tomorrow. So moving to Hans. Hans, you're a new face for a lot of people here. Can you tell them what race you won recently?
I ran the Bandera 100K.
And how fast did you run the Bandera 100K?
It was around 7 hours and 45 minutes.
He ran really, really fast at Bandera just a little while ago, and we're really, really excited to have him here against this field at Black Canyon as well. Can you tell us a little bit about feeling like, how are you feeling making the leap to a performance like that and some of the other ultra running you've done? I know that you're very, very early in your ultra and your trail career. Tell us a little bit about making this leap into the trail and ultra community.
The leap has been really easy just because like I'm super, super excited in everything I do. Any workout related to it, any race related to it, I just get so excited. And so like going into the race tomorrow, I mean, nerves, of course, but like more than anything, I'm just excited to run in the beautiful landscape again. And I never really ran out west. Bandera was like my first time. So like I'm just excited to see the trails and yeah, so pretty easy transition, and it's just excitement and everything.
Yeah, if you get a golden ticket tomorrow, you'll get to go even further west for a race in June. Given that you're very early into this whole thing, and you're continuing to step up in a way that I think is really impressive, have you asked anyone anything going into this weekend? Have you taken any advice away for how you want to approach racing in this level of a field tomorrow?
Yeah, I've been asking for advice from a lot of people. A lot of people here. I mean, I've DM'd a lot of people. You guys are probably like, oh, that's Hans. That's the guy that's DM'd me asking for advice. But yeah. So I mean, I'm just staying humble with it all and just asking for advice. So I mean, almost everybody here probably has more experience than me. So I know that everybody can give me a good piece of advice. And so feel free afterwards if you guys have any hints or anything like that. Let me know. But yeah.
Yeah, we go to Shea Aquilano for course advice, and we go to Hans for telling him how tomorrow might pan out. We can tell you that 38 men were under course record pace at mile 12 last year, so just ride the wave a little bit. We're going to move on to Andy Bumbalow here at the end, the hot seat. We said, maybe let them all answer first, and then we'd come around to you. So, Andy, you're one of those guys that comes into this field from a road and track background, which is super exciting. We've had a number of crossover athletes like Heather Jackson, who we had on the women's panel, coming over from professional Ironman triathlon. Tell us a little bit about showing up at a big race like this and just like deciding to dip your toe, not in a 50K, not in a 50 mile, but dipping your toe all the way into the 100K distance.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, I think I've had a full career on the road and on the track. I was in the Bowerman Track Club for 10 years, had a full career and retired in 2020 from professional running. Moved on to completely a new life, stayed in the industry, still work in footwear, but just had this opportunity during the pandemic to get exposed a little bit more to the trail community. And so for me, like over the last few years, I've just really missed competing. And it wasn't something where I felt like I needed to be back on the road or on the track again. I knew that ship had sailed and that was kind of behind me. And so I wanted to try something new and to test myself against some of the best athletes in the world at this, to like an opportunity to run further than I've ever run in my life before is just like very exciting. And at this point in my life, I'm 36 years old. Like I only want to do things that excite me and then also like scare me a little bit. And I think this does both. So really stoked for tomorrow.
Yeah, my personal like mantra going into this year, if it wasn't a hell yes, it was a no. So I feel like you're bringing that energy. I spend a lot of time with your personal hype man, Mr. Dylan Bowman, and he's been talking you up. And I know that you're a 2:10 marathoner, which is pretty darn quick, I would say. But he's also told me that you're incredibly mentally tough and mentally resilient. Talk a little bit about, the mental toughness or even psychological flexibility that you've cultivated from your road background and how that might help you out tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I trained with the Bowerman Track Club, and Jerry Schumacher was like known for pushing the boundaries of training and road running, doing just really heavy volume, even for road running, 120 miles a week, and doing like big long like threshold tempo sessions. So like I'm no stranger to hurting for a really long time. I think. This is different. This requires some patience and some humility and some respect to the course and to the distance. And so I think taking the mental toughness that I've gained from my experience on the road and then like tailoring that a little bit more to the specificity of what this requires is the goal, obviously, tomorrow. So I think I'll harken back to one experience specifically from my road running days, and that was the 2018 Boston Marathon, where it was 36 degrees, a 30-mile-per-hour headwind, just miserable conditions, pouring rain, and I was able to take 5th that day. So I think just kind of trying to lean in when the times get tough, and then also like learning from athletes that have come before me in the trail running scene, and just like taught me things about, like, you know, you can rise from the ashes multiple times, like you can come to a bad place, but like continue on. And so I'm going to be trying to channel that tomorrow when I'm out on the trail.
Awesome. I think we can all take that with us. We're going to do some more advice stuff, because I could ask them, like, are we on a course record watch? Yes. Do you want a golden ticket? Yes. I think we can answer that for all these guys. So I'd love to kind of pick their brains a little bit, so that, you know, we know what they're thinking tomorrow, but also maybe what you can take with you on the trail tomorrow. And we'll start with our trail veterans with Cole, as opposed to making the newbies answer first. We all make mistakes. We all learn from previous races and experiences. Cole, you've been chasing golden tickets, et cetera. You've got one now. But the question that I'm going to ask, basically, we'll just go down the line talking about this, is that we've all made mistakes before in a race. Like, how are you going to execute on anything that goes wrong tomorrow, or how are you going to circumvent any mistakes that could happen?
Yeah, I think the thing that I've learned the most from all my swings and misses is that it's great to be confident, but if you only think about how great the race is going to go, you're going to be really surprised when things do go wrong. So being prepared when the unpredictable happens, how are you going to manage it? And the biggest piece of advice I can give in regards to that is, don't be so rigid with what your plan was. If you're not jiving with whatever you laid out nutritionally, be flexible with that. You know, if you were like, I'm going to eat every 30 minutes or 45 or whatever the intervals were, like, don't be afraid to push it. You know, if your stomach's upset or something, just wait a little bit longer. Things of that nature. Because if you're just focusing on like how great it's going to be, it's not going to be all great, especially when you're racing for 8-10 hours or more.
John, same kind of question to you here. You know, expecting the unexpected. I know maybe your answer is actually the exact opposite of Cole's potentially, but talk about, like, you know, circumventing past mistakes when it comes to racing tomorrow.
Or I'll just talk about anticipating the mistakes that I'm worried about making tomorrow. And I've gotten a little more attention leading into this race than I have in the past. And so I've got a bunch of external voices in my head, just like recurring, of like, what is this person saying? What is that person saying about me? But my plan tomorrow is, anytime I have any of those stressful thoughts, is to literally physically ground myself. And I will be paying attention to my feet on the ground and the sensation of my foot on the ground. And so that's how I'm going to try to manage any stressful thoughts or mistakes that I could make.
Hayden, same kind of question to you. Learning from past mistakes, ready to set the record straight tomorrow.
Yeah, I think I've raced in every scenario you can possibly think of. You know, I've raced in cold weather, hot weather, terrible weather, you know, good weather. And so I've been in pretty much every situation you can think of, you know, being in this sport for 8 years now. And so I think I'll just lean on that and, you know, realize that, hey, I can get myself out of this because I've done it before. And, you know, I've practiced it in training. I've practiced it numerous times in races before this. And, you know, I just going to keep that, I guess you'd say, the attitude of gratitude, you know, being grateful that I'm here. And I think if I can keep that, I can get through anything.
Yeah, Hans, we know that you've only done a couple trail ultras, but you still have a bunch of running experience under your belt, despite being one of our young guns in the field tomorrow. So talk a little bit about how you're ready to approach what might be thrown at you.
I'm just going to approach it. I'm just going to take in the views the whole time. I think it's important to kind of like stay distracted, not only in racing, but in training as well. I think you can only be, I guess, so dedicated and involved, like mentally, for, you know, you burn out pretty quickly in training sometimes if you're just too involved for too long. So my game plan, I guess, or my advice to myself is just to enjoy it and take in the views for as long as I can, because I think that you're not playing as big of a toll on your body if you're just having fun. So I'm just going to just try and have fun.
Yeah, as Lucy said on the women's panel, it's still just running at the end of the day. Andy, what about you tomorrow? Stepping up in distance, double as far as you've run before.
Yeah, I think just an approach of humility early on, you know, just respect for the distance, respect for the course, respect for my competitors. And, you know, one of the things that I'm going to draw energy on is certainly from my crew and from my pacers that will be out there with me. So I think those will be just like wonderful sights to see as I get to 50K and beyond.
So speaking of crew, we did this with the women's panel as well. I think it's important to recognize that this is not, while it is an individual effort out there, it's really a team effort when it comes to getting you guys from the start line to the finish line, or even getting you to the start line. You know, our support systems go beyond crewing at races. They take care of us at home oftentimes, making sure the training happens, making sure we get fed eventually, et cetera. So we'll start actually on this end with you, Andy. Talk about, you know, who's supporting you getting to the start line today and who's going to be out there supporting you tomorrow.
Yeah, Dylan Bowman will be leading my crew, and then I'll have 2 pacers, one of which will be Dylan from 50 to home, and then Elliot Heath will be pacing me out there, and then the whole Nike Trail family for just inspiring me and supporting me to be out here, as well as my wife Ann and my 2 kids at home.
Nice. Hans, who's your support system?
Hello.
There we
Over.
go.
My mom is here, my wife Grace, my good friend Dylan. They'll all be crewing for me. No pacers for this race, but I just excited to see them at each aid station.
Yeah, I have a great support crew. We have a good team down here from Southern Utah that came down with me. My crew, though, for the race will be Matt Halverson and Kylie Aldez. They're from Tucson. They're coming up here they know the area really well, and they've, you know, helped me in my training runs and everything leading into this race. No pacer, and I will have my kids back home, you know, watching in, and can't wait to hear what they have to say.
Yeah, we run the live feed for the moms and for the children at home getting to watch people race. All the way until 4 a.m. too, so we're going long on the live stream. What about John?
My support system is Rachel Ray, not the chef, but the high school math teacher, and my partner and everything. Thanks, Rachel.
Usually, my wife Jocelyn is here to crew me. Unfortunately, this time around, she's managing another race in town, the Mesa Marathon, so she's going to have her hands tied managing that event. But luckily, one of her good friends, Chloe Schulman, who's helped me at Canyons and Western States in the past, she'll be leading the charge on the crew end. So I'm very thankful for her and her family, and of course, all my friends and family members back home watching the live stream.
Awesome. Let's give these guys a big round of applause. Don't run away quite yet. If we've got some bold people, we're going to try to do a quick Q&A before we let you guys get off. Well, you're not on your feet right now. Before we let you guys go home. So again, captive audience. You've got 5 especially talented men who are going to be racing tomorrow. Any questions you want to ask them while we have them here? Yeah. Okay, the question was directed at Hans, and he said, how much are you going to beat the course record by?
Oh man, I guess however fast these guys decide to run, that should probably be it.
Yeah, I do think we're on a course record watch tomorrow on both the men's and women's race, so it should be very exciting racing. Ideal, I think mostly ideal conditions, maybe a little muddy at the start. Any other questions for these guys? No wrong answers, no wrong questions. Yeah. Oh yeah, we had some concerns about layering earlier on. What are we gonna? We're braving the cold. We're braving the wet maybe out there. What's the race strategy? Lucy said that she only brought bikinis, so we're a little bit concerned about hypothermia. Any advice?
Hayden and I were exchanging messages before the race about what kit we were going to wear. He's going to wear the regular shorts. I'm going to wear the short shorts.
You heard it here first.
I just brought bikinis too.
Okay, we got a lot of arm sleeves, I know, in the women's race, but could be wet, could be cold in the morning. I think we heard gloves from a lot of people earlier, too. Any other questions for these guys? You guys all really want to go eat dinner. Is that